The second part of our Christmas holidays was a trip to Oslo. We need to take a PCR test upon arrival regardless of vaccination status. We arrived at our accommodation after sunset, so we just decided to stay in. On our first day, we decided to visit some museums. But first, coffee. First stop is the Nobel Peace Prize Center. Here, an entire floor is dedicated to the works of Maria Ressa. These are the biographies of all the Nobel Peace Prize winners and the summary of their works. Next, we went to this modern art museum. This museum exhibits different kinds of smell. From the smell of money to the smell of different woods and stones. Smell of linens to floor stains and floss, and as far as the 365 breaths of the artist, a breath a day. We ended the first day visiting the Christmas market around the frozen fountain. Was getting a little excited as it was starting to snow. On our second day, the streets were almost entirely covered with snow. First, we visited the Oslo Opera house, where you can walk on its sloping roof. We then visited trams, which is an 18th century wooden homes district at the heart of central Oslo. Next, we went to Frogner Park, which is the largest public park in central Oslo. It is also where you can see the Vigilant sculpture installation. This one here is the monolith, which depicts 121 humans climbing around each other, with every figure representing a different stage of life. We ended our second day in the floating sauna. Floating saunas are quite popular in the Nordic and Scandinavian culture. First, you warm up inside the sauna. Next is you take a dip in the freezing seawater. Then you go back in, pour water on the hot stones to increase humidity, and get warm back up again. We have very much enjoyed this experience that we've actually done it twice in this trip. On our last day in Oslo, we visited the Royal Palace. We then went to the Norwegian Museum of Cultural History. There are various indoor exhibits featuring Norwegian folk art, folk costume, and Sami culture. But my favorite part is the open-air museum featuring the old Norwegian town. The last landmark we visited was the Akershus Fortress. Which is overlooking the Aker port. We truly had an amazing time in Oslo. Although the snow weather could be a little much sometimes, I've made my first snowman here. From us both, takk Oslo!